Your cat walks past every comfortable spot in the house and settles right beside you. But the moment your hand moves toward them, they pull away. Most owners take that personally. They assume their cat doesn't want them. But what just happened is actually the opposite of rejection. Your cat just did something that required real emotional courage. And if you misread this moment, which most people do, you could quietly damage the only kind of bond they were willing to offer you. Here's what's really going on. 1. Touch interrupts the very thing they came for. Have you ever watched your cat bypass the sofa, the warm blanket, the sunny windowsill, and land right beside you instead? They clearly chose you. So why do they flinch the second you reach over? Because they didn't come for contact. They came for your presence. And those are two completely different things. Cats are what animal behaviorists call proximity seekers. A 2019 study from Oregon State University found that cats form secure attachments to their owners that closely mirror the way human infants bond with caregivers. And one of the clearest expressions of that bond is simply choosing to be near you. No food involved, no play, nothing asked for. Just you. When your cat lies beside you, they're taking in everything about you. Your warmth, the rhythm of your breathing, your scent, the calm energy you give off when you're still. That experience is complete on its own. It doesn't need anything added to it. And when you reach over and start petting, you interrupt the exact thing that brought them to you in the first place. Think about it this way. Someone you're close to sits beside you in comfortable silence. It feels right. Then they suddenly tap your arm and start talking. Whatever that moment was, it's gone. That's what your hand does to your cat. And there's something even bigger underneath this. Every single time your cat sits beside you like that, they're running a quiet test. How you respond in that moment determines how much of themselves they're willing to show you. Stay with me until the end, because what your cat is actually measuring will completely change the way you see them. 2. You're approaching them the wrong way. Have you ever noticed that some people can touch a cat and the cat just melts, but when you try the exact same thing, they tense up and leave? The difference probably isn't what you're doing. It's how you're beginning. Most owners reach toward their cat from above, hand coming straight down toward the head. It feels like the most natural movement in the world. But from your cat's perspective, something coming from directly above triggers the same alarm system as a predator dropping in. Their brain doesn't register love. It registers threat. Cats have a significant blind spot directly above their head. When your hand descends from a direction they can't fully see, their nervous system fires before they even have time to recognize it's you. That flinch isn't them pushing you away. It's a reflex they can't control. The adjustment is simple. Bring your hand in slowly from below their chin line, somewhere they can track it the whole time. Even better, extend a single finger near their nose and wait. Let them decide whether to close the gap. When a cat bumps into your hand on their own terms, they're saying yes. When you reach straight for them, you're bypassing their entire consent process. Animal behaviorist John Bradshaw found that cats who are able to initiate contact themselves show measurably lower stress during interactions than cats who are touched without invitation. It was never about whether you touch them. It was always about who starts it. One small change in how your hand moves, and the cat who always walked away might finally stay. And if this is making sense of something your cat has done for years, hit like and subscribe so we can help more owners understand what their cat has been trying to tell them. 3. What feels light to you doesn't feel light to them. What if the way you pet your cat doesn't feel gentle to them at all? What if what you're calling soft actually registers as too much? Here's something most owners never consider. Your cat's skin contains far more nerve endings per surface area than yours. A stroke that feels perfectly light on your own arm lands on your cat's body with significantly more intensity. Think about someone rubbing a sunburn and genuinely believing they're being gentle. That's closer to what many cats experience when touched the way you'd pet a dog. It goes beyond simple sensitivity. Cats have specialized sensory receptors called mechanoreceptors that detect pressure, vibration, and even minor shifts in temperature. Veterinary research has identified areas like the belly, lower back, and base of the tail as particularly dense with these receptors. Zones where the line between comfortable and overwhelming can be crossed in seconds, with no obvious warning. This is why your cat can go from purring to pulling away in what feels like an instant. They didn't turn on you. Their body crossed a threshold you had no way of seeing. Behaviorists call this overstimulation, and it's one of the most misunderstood things cats do, because owners interpret it as mood swings when it was always physical, never personal. The signals are there before it happens. A tail that starts flicking, ears that rotate slightly backward, a ripple moving along the spine. Those aren't random. That's your cat telling you clearly that what felt fine 10 seconds ago no longer does. Learning to read those signals changes everything. 4. They might be reacting to someone they knew before you. Here's the one most owners don't want to consider, but it matters. If your cat flinches when you reach for them, even after months or years of living with you, that response may have been built long before you ever met. Somewhere in their past, a hand didn't mean affection. It meant something they needed to get away from. Cats have exceptionally strong associative memory. Research in animal cognition has shown that negative experiences, particularly physical ones, are encoded differently than positive ones. They form faster and they resist fading. A single bad experience with a hand can create a flinch response that persists for years. And while cats can remember specific individuals who caused them harm, the fear doesn't always stay that specific. It can spread. It stops being about one person and starts being about hands in general, regardless of whose they are. So when your cat pulls back as you reach toward them, they're not making a judgment about you. They're responding to a memory you had absolutely nothing to do with. The instinct in that moment is to push through, to offer more affection, to prove you're safe. But that approach confirms exactly what their nervous system already believes. It makes things worse, not better. This is especially true for cats who were rescued or rehomed. The work shelters do is extraordinary, but they can't undo what shaped a cat before it arrived. That wiring runs deep. But it isn't permanent. With enough consistent, calm, predictable experience over time, cats build new associations. The old memory doesn't vanish, but a newer, stronger one can grow alongside it and eventually outweigh it. 5. They're deciding whether you've earned all of them. Remember at the start when I said your cat is running a silent test every time they sit beside you? This is what that test actually looks like. When your cat settles next to you and you don't reach for them, something registers in their brain. You just passed. You just proved that you can share space with them without needing to take something from the moment. And for a cat, that proof is everything. Cats don't hand over trust in one significant gesture. They release it in pieces so small you can barely see them. Every time they sit near you and nothing uncomfortable happens, they file that away. Every time you let them exist beside you without grabbing or pulling them closer, it gets added to a running total. Behaviorists call this trust stacking, and it's the actual mechanism by which cats slowly lower walls they were born knowing how to build. Most owners get the goal wrong. They think the objective is to get their cat to accept being touched. But the thing your cat genuinely cares about, the test they're running, is whether you can be close to them without needing anything from them at all. That's what they're measuring. And most owners fail it every single day without ever knowing it existed. Here's what makes this worth understanding. The cats who are given real space, whose owners stopped reaching and simply stayed present, are the ones who eventually close the distance on their own. One day, without you trying, without you reaching, your cat will press themselves against you, or rest their head on your hand, or fall asleep actually touching you. That moment doesn't come from persistence. It comes from patience. Your cat was never pulling away from you. They were waiting, quietly, carefully, to find out if you were someone who could love them without needing to use your hands to do it.